All right, welcome back to another episode of ADHD and Crochet. As you can see here, I have quite the whale of a project in front of me. This is, in fact, a whale. So once again, I did not make this pattern. This is a pattern by Crafty Intentions, I believe, that we're putting together today. I have all the pieces I wanted to make of it done. Now, I've actually pinned this piece together. Kind of hard to see the pins, but they are there. So we're just going to go ahead and get started, dive right into it. So the intention of this series is to kind of show off the projects themselves, as well as show off the patterns if you like them. Of course, I want to support other creators, but also just to be some background noise. Hopefully you guys are able to throw me on in the background while you do whatever it is you like to do. So this one is also made out of blanket yarn. Funny thing about this one, a lot of patterns don't tell you how big the end product will be. This one did, and I just didn't read it. So I ended up with a literal giant. So now I have a dream whale body pillow. For the summer months here, I do plan on doing a lot of sea-themed things, beach-themed things. Bean is attempting to steal my string again. Is underneath me here. When I'm working with really long strings like this, I like to kind of hold the string lightly as it moves, just to kind of help keep it from tangling as much as it likes to do. When it tangles, it likes to break if you try to pull too hard, so you have to be careful there. This blanket yarn also likes to catch every bit of hair that it can find, whether it be mine or a cat's. Yarn in general likes to do that, but the blanket yarn really likes to do that. Now when I have these weird like corners here, I try to sew in the corner to kind of give it a little more of a smooth look to it, so that it's not so blocky on something that's not really supposed to be square. Now, last time I had said that I had a couple projects to go over, and I did, but I only got through one. I have a feeling this is going to be very much the same. Just because this is a gigantic project. This project was so large that, as you can see, I ran out of the yarn that I started with. Which is fine. He kind of turned into a scrap whale, using up the various yarn that I had left over from other projects, or just had gotten and didn't know what to do with. He's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoy him. I enjoy the different colors. I enjoy the eclecticness of him. I do wish that I had another variegated yarn to finish him off with, but I did not. That's okay. Because this yarn is so fluffy, it's hard for me to see the pins, so you'll periodically see my run my fingers along the edge here, just to try and find those before they find me. As you can see, the yarn wanted to tangle here. We're just gonna pull that apart real quick. And yeah, it'll be fun. Working with longer string is more difficult than shorter string, but in the long run, it's better. Just because you get more even stitching, you don't have to worry about tying the knots. And once again, we're kind of at a little bit of a dip, a little bit of a corner. I'm just going into that corner and sewing out from it. Another pin that we're going to pull out. I generally have a box to put these pins in, but I am going to be using them again later when we get to the fins of the whale. Whales are interesting creatures. I wouldn't say they're my favorite sea creature, but they are very interesting. For starters, the fact that they are, in fact, mammals. They breathe air, they produce milk, all that fun stuff, but they live in the water full time. They also dislike orcas, which are apparently not whales, I learned recently. They're more related to dolphins, which is kind of cool, kind of makes sense. Still don't like them that much. I just want to be clear, I don't hate any real creature, any real animal. I do have some bugs that I hate, like mosquitoes. But outside of those, I think everyone can understand why I hate those. So while I don't really like dolphins and orcas, I don't hate them either. They are interesting and very intelligent, but that's also part of the problem, is that they're intelligent. Oops. My cat Panzer is also in here today, and he is probably getting into something he shouldn't be. Thank you. Like he's planning to jump up here, so the camera's probably going to shake. Here he is. Here, are you going to be in my way? Get off the camera, thanks. Oops. Drop the pin. And right back in front of the camera. Thank you, buddy. And there he goes. Pulling things the wrong way. We're getting to another end here. I will probably have to adjust the entire whale to get around this little corner here. That's okay. Working with large projects like this also counts as an arm workout, I swear. Endurance training, even. There's just a lot of that back and forth motion, repetitive motion. Even when actually crocheting giant projects like this, as they get bigger, you really feel it in your shoulders, your upper arms. Yeah, but not trying to form. There we go. This project was especially fun to work on due to its size, because it just kept getting longer and longer. So, and it curves, as you can kind of see the way it's sitting and resting. It curves along the body down to the tail. So it doesn't just lay flat. And once you start stuffing it, it becomes more difficult to maneuver around and adjust. like I mentioned earlier, this pattern did in fact tell me how big it was supposed to be, what size yarn to use, and how big it was supposed to be using that size yarn. It was supposed to be 22 inches, and this thing is almost 5 feet tall. It probably will be 5 feet tall once I get the tail fin on there, as that adds another like 1.5 feet. So, pro tip, actually read your patterns. To gauge how big something is, how much yarn to use, should it tell you. Hopefully it does. Enjoy that sound of pulling yarn through yarn. I find it a nice sound, but not everybody will. Some fun facts about whales. I think I mentioned it. They don't get along with orcas. They actually kind of hate each other and have a vendetta against them, which I find interesting and kind of entertaining. Because they are, generally speaking, considered gentle giants, especially towards other creatures that are not whales, except orcas. I learned that they really don't like orcas to the point where they will hear an orca pod hunting nearby, and they will actively go to the hunt just to mess it up. They're quite literally calorie blocking orcas, a pod of orcas at that point. Which orcas do have a tendency of targeting whale pods for their calves, and all of that fun stuff. We're just going to do a little tuckaroo on that one. But what's interesting is that whales will just actively protect other species that don't even look like whale calves. There was a theory that whales would protect other species that had a similar body shape to their infants. But it has kind of come out and been shown that they'll just protect anything that's being targeted by a whale, or by not a whale, an orca. They just really don't like orcas. There's also been instances where they'll protect divers and things from sharks, which is also pretty cool. They're just the big moms of the sea, unless you're a krill or a small fish. Then they're not so friendly. Fish is delicious, though. I'm gonna make myself hungry if I talk about it, though. Specifically sushi. Good stuff. So, due to the fact that I do have cats who like to get involved, I've had to move my pins from on the table to being stuck in my shirt. I don't recommend doing that. I don't even have the confidence in myself not to stab myself on accident with them. But I'd rather it be me than the cat. So, judging by the fact that I'm only halfway done with the belly being attached to the whale, and I aim to do about hour-long content, and it has been about 20 minutes. I think it's safe to say I won't be doing anything but the whale this video. It's very possible I will have to split this into 2 videos, in part for the pure fact that the room I do this in does not have great air conditioning, and I have to do this in the morning before it gets really hot in here. And it's already getting a little toasty. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this, but I do still have to pin on the tail and the wing fins, which do look like actual wings, as I used the celestial whale pattern parts after getting the main body done. So, but we'll see how far we get. Oh no, I have an excuse to make more content. This particular project probably won't be for sale just because, due to size and shipping costs and finding a box big enough or getting a vacuum bag to fit it in, pack it down, that just sounds like a lot of work. So I might just keep this one for myself, but make a smaller whale at some point that is more acceptable to sell and upload that. So there's probably going to be exclusive content both on my YouTube channel here and on my Instagram. I'll probably display different things, sometimes the same things, but not always. Trying to keep what I'm doing in the camera's view, but the whale wants to roll towards me. You can kind of see the curve better while it's on this side. Sometimes the stuffing wants to come out while you're sewing. Just gotta poke it back in. Accidentally tapped my little microphone, which I did get a microphone for this now. Did not have one last time. I was just using the built-in mic on my camera, which was a horrible decision, but I did not have a mic at the time and was just trying things out. Got some feedback to definitely get a mic, so I did. I also brought some tea in with me, which is not helping the fact that it is warm in here because it is hot tea. but it is helping my voice for talking for an hour straight. Which I do have a 9 to 5 job. I do have a real job. This is just a hobby for me that I enjoy. And my real job does involve me talking all day. And I like my job. Every job has its stressful moments, but I do enjoy my job. I'm lucky enough that I get to work from home. I know that's not available for everyone. I have the freedom to make these things in my downtime, do chores as I need to throughout the day. And just really get to enjoy my life here. My cats get to be involved, which they're thrilled about because they like being involved in things that they have no reason to be involved in. As you kind of saw with Panzer getting in front of the camera, as cats like to do. My husband did come by and remove the cats from the room. Which is a little unfortunate, but it does make it so that they don't get in the way. My arms are getting a little bit tired working on this for 30 minutes straight, but that's okay. We are nearing the end here. Well, not really. We'll have to go around the snout still. I think some of the next projects that I will be displaying after the whale will be uploaded to my Instagram after I upload the video. They will be available for purchase. As always, I will link any patterns that I've used that I did not create down in the description of the video. I will also have my Instagram handle available, so you can find me if you want. Always appreciate the support. Always appreciate if you're able to take some of these things off my hands because they are taking up too much space in my house. Especially when I misjudge a pattern and make things way too big. Bigger is not always better, guys. Take that how you will. But in all seriousness, overall, I am happy with how this one turned out. I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but it definitely is mine. You probably can't hear it. I think this mic is somewhat noise canceling, but Panzer is demanding he get let back in now. And I'm not sure I'm going to actually let him in. He's a little bit of a brat, but he's cute. So he gets away with it, which is part of the problem, but he's also a cat, so it's fine. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to make this a two-part project, just due to the sheer size of this monster. I do try to record these in one go so that I have less editing, because this is all just me doing this. Editing, recording, making the product, posting everything. It's a one-woman show. And it's toasty in here because it is summer and I live in a very warm state. Now we are on to a very awkward position. I'll do my best to keep everything in the camera's view here. For anyone who actually likes watching and not just listening to me blab while doing this. This is my first time doing this sort of stuff, or at least my last video was my first time. This is technically my second now. Not technically, it is my second now. So I was really excited to see that my last video got any views more than the 3 people I sent it to give me feedback on it. So for anybody who is watching, I appreciate you. It's kind of cool to be able to share my artwork with people, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do leave any comments, I will attempt to respond if it's either constructive criticism or anything like worth responding to. If you're just being mean, I will probably just ignore you. It's a free country, you can put whatever you want, but I will probably ignore you if you're mean, as anyone should. I'm happy to get constructive criticism, so if you have tips for me or things you want to see or anything to make the videos themselves better, I am all for hearing it. But if you're just going to tell me that my stuff is garbage or is ugly, I will ignore you. You're entitled to your opinion, but I will ignore you because it's not worth my mental health or time. I'm not going to turn comments off or anything like that. I do believe that people are allowed to say what they like, but if you're just going to be a troll, be warned, you will be ignored. This is the only time I'm going to address you. Unless you say something really funny, then I might bring it up on a later video. Probably laugh at what you said. I like to think I have relatively thick skin. like this whale. Got some blubber too. No, I don't ever actually plan on showing myself on camera past my hands and probably the shirts that I'm wearing. I plan to keep my real life and this stuff pretty separate. There's a lot of weirdos and freaks on the internet and in the world, and I don't trust y'all. There's a lot of good people in the world too, but hiding among those good people are freaks that I don't want to deal with. And I'm just not gonna. So you just get my, hopefully, relaxing voice and my hands covered in gloves. And again, the gloves are compression gloves so that I don't cause myself an injury, which is really easy to do. We are coming to another very awkward point on the whale. And you'll notice that the eyes of the whale got really scratched up, and I don't know when or how that happened. It just did. Cats are now digging and screaming at the door. They're so pathetic and desperate to get in, and it's quite entertaining. Do you like my hip as a porcupine? There's quite a few pins sticking into my shirt at that point. Now I need to adjust the whale because I can't see where my stitches need to go. Let's see, is this better? A little bit. Still can't really see what's happening here. Maybe he'll turn him on his side. Yeah, that'll have to do. A lot of things are trial and error. My string got stuck on my microphone there, so I bet that was a lovely sound. A lot of people would probably edit that out. I'm not talented enough to and don't care enough to. Personally, I think it's more entertaining for it to be as close to raw footage as I can get. I don't intend to edit very much of my video. Any of my videos, the last video, I pretty much just cut out the beginning sounds of turning my camera on and starting the recording, and then the end sound of turning the camera off. Because those are really loud, obnoxious beeps that you don't want to hear. Have to be careful of your camera stand and not to smack it. Not trying to make anybody seasick there. Have another knot trying to happen on this side here. I'd ask the string if it could not, but it'll just show me that it can. I'd say I'm sorry for my puns, but I'm not. Ah, got it. And I've just poked myself with a pin. Good job, me. Thankfully, it did not go very far, so there is no bleeding. I don't need to go get myself a band-aid. I do want to make mention that this was the first time I had done this pattern as well, so there are quite a few mistakes throughout. But that's kind of part of learning, is making those mistakes. I'm not afraid of making mistakes anymore. I've learned over time that mistakes are how we learn. Harder to learn if you get everything right the first time. And it's better to have that experience of problem solving. You make a mistake, figure out that it was a mistake, and then you go about doing it better the next time. Learning from that mistake. And that applies to all life, not just projects. It's okay to not get something right the first time. There's patterns where I just didn't understand it the first time I tried it, and I had to stop and do something else. And then when I learned a little bit more, I also got a little bit of sleep. I went back to it, tried it again, and it made sense that time. I was able to do it the correct way. So if I do this pattern again, I don't think I'll be using a fluffy yarn again. I will probably, well, not if, when I do this pattern again, I will use a smaller yarn, a more normal sized yarn. Allow it to be the size it's supposed to be, or even smaller even. As you can see, I kind of had a little bit of a weird spot here, but that's just easy to fix with a little bit of extra stitches. That's why we have a really long string, other than the fact that this is a really large part, just so that we can do these extra stitches and just kind of hide our mistakes a little bit along the edge here. Smooth everything out. In here. Take that out before it gets me. Gotta fight with your needle sometimes. Kind of funny is the camera can see better than I can right now. I'm kind of using the camera as my eyes, which is a really weird sensation. I think I'm gonna have to stand up now. Gotta get that aerial view of the project. So we are almost there. Down here is where we need to get to, and that's probably where we will stop for this video. So it might be ever so slightly shorter than the last video, but that's okay. I have to stab myself with the pin as we put it away. I will probably pin the fins onto this project off camera and then just sew them on next video. So I was not kidding when I said this is a whale of a project. It is quite the whale. It may not be a project that I'm overly proud of. Pardon me. But that's okay. I do this because it makes me happy, and I hope to spread some of that joy to you as well. Over a little bit. Oops. I don't know about anybody else, but after a project gets to a certain point of being made, I feel bad sticking pins and needles in it because I feel like it's alive. Logically, I know it's not, but you know, you always put a little bit of yourself into whatever you work on. I think it's just because of the big eyes. Whenever I put the eyes on it and start working on sewing things together, it just makes me think of Toy Story. Sometimes I feel the need to apologize to my stuffed animal. All right. So we are pretty much done here. Like I said, I will probably do a part 2 where I actually attach the fins to the body now that I've gotten the belly attached. I've got like 2 stitches left at this point. So after we're done with this video, I'll probably stop for the day, save this for another day, and record at that point. Hopefully it'll be a little cooler when doing so. Like if you liked the video, subscribe if you want to see more of my content and be notified when it comes out. Hit me up on Instagram, Yarnaholic Creations. If you want to see more of my stuff, have suggestions or commissions that you want done, I will try to finish the whale in the next video. Let me know what you think I should name it, if you have any suggestions for that. Oops. And I will see you guys in the next one. My yarn wants to stop tangling on me at this last bit. There we go. As always, snip, snip, and have a good day.